Hello, 3RNet members. This is Mark Barkley, Director of Member Services here at 3RNet, and today I just wanted to take a minute to show you our newest educational ebook, Factors to Market Your Rural Community. So really the premise behind this factors book, as we'll call it, is to look specifically at 50 factors that have been research validated to be important to family medicine physicians in rural areas. So what this book does is it looks at each one of the 50 factors and it kind of breaks them up as to, what it might look like in a facility if they have an advantage for that factor, what it might look like if they have a challenge in that factor, and what some potential solutions are to the challenges. So you can see really the goal here, the subtitle, identify and communicate strengths and invest in challenges. So if we open up this ebook, you can see we have a table of contents. We have about 3RNet. About this training, these factors came from what's known as the Community APGAR project that was created by Dr. Ed Baker and Dr. Dave Schmitz out of Idaho. And I know a few of you will be familiar with the Community APGAR project, but this isn't really the Community APGAR project. All we essentially worked with from that project was the factors. So the information in this project doesn't really have anything to do with the Community APGAR project. Basically, we just borrowed their factors, and we worked with Dr. Baker and Dr. Schmitz on this ebook as well, but we just kind of used the factors from their research to kind of help define what we think facilities should be looking at in terms of defining their opportunity and then hopefully ultimately defining their ideal candidate and finding that ideal candidate. So if we continue to move on here, you can see over here on the left-hand column too in the table of contents, you can see these 50 factors are broken up into 5 classes of factors. So the first class of factors is geographic factors. So you can kind of get a sense of the navigation of this document. Geographic factors, and then there's 10 geographic factors here. And you can see over here in the actual ebook that geographic factors are broken up. It gives you a little bit about what geographic factors are, how they relate to different types of candidates, and again lists them for you. So if I actually jump into the geographic factors, you can see each of these factors is broken up onto one page. So access to a larger community is our first geographic factor. So what does this factor mean? Why is it important? What might it look like if a community or a facility has advantages in this factor? What it might look like if a facility or community has challenges in this factor? And then it offers some solutions to challenges here as well. So you can see we go through and every factor is set up in that exact same way. So a facility can look at this, or you can look at this being a member and kind of hopefully parse out what communities have advantages in which of these different factors, where they have challenges, and of course identifying advantages, right? We want to use those advantages in our marketing. So some of these things facilities or communities might have drastic advantages in, but they might not think of them typically as advantages. And then conversely, sometimes they might see a challenge and then they can invest in that hopefully to identify those challenges and invest in those challenges and potentially even implement some of the solutions that we've listed here. So hopping into economic factors, again the same thing. Economic factors, it breaks up a page just on what are economic factors, and then you can scroll through and you can look at things like employment status, loan repayment, signing bonus, etc. So then the next class of factors after economic is scope of practice. So scope of practice we all know is important in rural areas, and again all of this information is basically geared towards rural areas, and it is important to note too, these factors were specifically developed and have been validated through research based on family medicine physicians. So these 50 factors were all developed and geared towards family medicine physicians for the initial Community APGAR project. However, we kind of took them and we were a little bit more liberal in their definitions, and so we think about 80 or 90% of this book is really relevant to not only family medicine physicians but other primary care specialties as well as other professions, NPs, PAs, the type of folks that our members are really recruiting. So scope of practice, we get into emergency room coverage, inpatient care, and again each factor is set up in the exact same way to look at why is it important, potential advantages, potential challenges, and then ideas for solutions. So this book right now is really still in draft form. We have spent a lot of time on it, of course, as you can see, but all of the content in this book has been created exclusively by 3RNet staff. So what's really cool about this, and why we're still saying it's in draft form, is we want to get this out to you guys because you guys are really the experts in these things. So our members can look at this, can review this, and as a membership association, as a group, we can continue to build on this document, continue to add, solutions to challenges. Because I'm sure if you look through all of these factors, every one of our members has different perspectives and solutions to challenges that something that's been done in Texas maybe has never been done in California before, right? And if folks can learn from each other, learn from the solutions to these common challenges that we all face in recruitment and retention, we can build a really strong collaborative, educational material here. The fourth out of the 5 classes of factors is the medical support factors. So we can look at things like stability of physician workforce, transfer arrangements, and again, this gets into some of the things that your communities might not be thinking of as potential challenges, or potential advantages that they want to market to providers. But just taking something like transfer arrangements, we all know that one of the biggest things for recruiting providers out to a rural area is fighting that feeling of isolation. And if you have really good transfer arrangements, if you can pick up the phone and get your patient out of there really quickly and efficiently, that's a big deal for a provider to come in, right? Because it cuts back on that isolation. So again, that's just one example, but hopefully this book is a way to start sparking facilities to think about their opportunity in some of these parameters. And then the last class of factors here is hospital and community support factors. So things like your electronic medical records, your hospital leadership, your physical plant and equipment, and everything like that. So you can see how the book is set up. Like I said, it really is kind of still in draft form, as we're calling it, but we think the information here is really good, but we're calling it a draft because we want to keep adding to it. So this is another ebook that is available to you right now. I'm going to share this video with you, and I'll share a link to where our members can access it on the extranet. But as always, you're encouraged to use this any way you see fit. So if you want to set up your own page with this material, we can work with you to set up your own private page. We can set up a password for you, so you can share this with your facilities so they can use it. You can do trainings based off of it, and all of those sorts of things. So again, it's here for you. It's broken up 50 factors, 5 classes of factors, and as always, if you have any questions or comments about this new ebook, please let us know. Thanks.